Hello pilots and welcome back to another X-Wing flight video brought to you by Out of Art Gaming. As always, my name is Phil and today we have Game 10, the final group game of the Commentator Wars. Joining me for commentary today we have...
Hi guys, I'm Amy. It's great to be back.
Hi Amy, welcome back. Been a while since we've actually had you commentating. We've had plenty of games with you on the channel recently, especially that epic game you had with Quinn that went up the other day.
Oh gosh, yeah, I'm still having flashbacks to that. 6 Crocs.
Yeah, I think people get flashbacks of certain things in games. I think 6 Crocs is one of them. I think for me, it's multiple Y-Wings in the bad old days of first edition.
Oh, yeah.
So, all with TLT as well. It wasn't nice.
Ouch.
But we are here to talk about second edition, the much improved version of the game. And as I said, game 10 of the Commentary Wars. This is the one that is going to decide who makes it through to the semi-finals. It's quite good that we actually have both myself and you commentating, because this game decides which one of us actually makes it through. So it's going to be, we'll be watching this with bated breath. We actually have myself flying against James. So what we'll do, Amy, you wanted to go through the Imperial list, didn't you? So did you want to go through that for us?
Yep, sure. So these are some of my favourite ships. Of course, I'm a huge Empire and First Order player. So we have Captain Oiken in the Decimator, fielding Darth Vader, 000, Connonets, BT-1, Shield Upgrade, Intimidation, and Dauntless. And then 4 TIE fighters. All of them are can't even pronounce it. Obsidian Squadron pilots. Of course, there's 4 of those. No upgrades on them. But yeah, TIE fighters on their own are still quite plucky little things. They're very good to fly.
Yeah, nice and simple TIE fighters. Quite like them. So flying against the Empire and my list, we have James running a quintessential Rebels list. And by that, I'm actually referencing the Rebels TV show, as we pretty much have every character on there. We have Hera Syndulla in the VCX 100 Ghost, with Zeb, Chopper, Passive Sensors, Intimidation, the Ghost title, and Ion Cannon turrets. We also have Ezra Bridger in the Attack Shuttle, with Kanan Jarrus, who is also flying with Heightened Perception and the Phantom title. We also have Sabine Wren with Crackshot in the Stolen TIE Fighter, and Captain Rex also in the Stolen TIE Fighter. So we still have 6 TIEs on the board, it's just 2 of them have been stolen. So my aim is to get them back and scrub off that horrible, actually it's really nice, but scrub off that paint job they've got on there to bring some uniformity back to this proceedings. So I tell you what, when James put that list down and I saw that it was everyone from Rebels, I'm not gonna lie, I did have a big smile on my face. It was quite cool.
I've got a huge smile on mine as well. It is nice to see all the Rebels together.
Yeah, and one of the things I find quite interesting is that we both have a big ship with no evades, both running Intimidation. So it'll be interesting to see if they come into contact and if Intimidation even comes into play at any point between those 2.
Yeah, that would be quite interesting to see. I mean, Imitation is a really nice upgrade. Of course, both of the ships are on complete opposite sides of the board for the minute, so it might be a while until we see that come into effect. But
yeah, might be a bit of time there. But I mean, I think Intimidation, especially on Captain Oiken, it's almost a stapled on talent there, allowing you to, when you bump into an enemy, they're at -1 agility, and Captain Oiken being able to shoot when he's in contact with someone, it just seems to really work there. And James has actually gone for a similar tactic with having Zeb on board with Hera, because Zeb also allows you to perform primary attacks at range 0. The only difference is that enemy ships can also perform attacks at range 0 against you. So whereas mine wouldn't allow that, Zeb does allow it. So quite an interesting take there.
Yeah, it's quite rare to see a ship firing at range 0, but to have 2 of them in a game,
Yeah,
it's going to be really interesting.
it is going to be quite funny to see. It'll be a case of who has the better positioning. I think with James, he's obviously got the initiative bid there with Hera being at I5 and having most of the things in a better initiative state than mine. I've got a 3 and 4 2s, but it means that I've got the opportunity to block, and I do have the overall initiative, so my ships in the initiative clashes will shoot first.
Yeah.
So it looks like we've got a strong approach from the Empire, just going straight down that board edge. Going to see if we can get rid of those 2 TIE fighters early. I mean, for you, I think we ask this every time, but who would be your first target, would you say? Who would you go for first?
I would say the Ghost, but it's at the opposite side of the board, so I think I'd focus fire down those 2 ties since they're the closest. But I think my main priority would be the Ghost, purely because it's just so chunky. It's always been a chunky ship, even since version 1. It's a tank to take out.
Yeah, it is a bit of a beast to take out. I mean, as I said, fortunately, it's got 0 agility, but you still need to be putting a lot of shots into it. So if you haven't got that time on target, that's where it's going to be quite tricky. And having Hera on board as well, given her the initiative 5, and with Hera's ability, that always makes it a bit interesting. She's got that sort of perfect information there. So for those of you that are not as familiar with Hera, not in an A-wing or a B-wing, her ability, after you reveal a red or blue maneuver, you may set your dial to another maneuver of the same difficulty. So she can change the angle of her attack, as it were, within that difficulty bracket, though. But it is still a very strong ability and just a really strong ship. I don't think we see the Ghost enough, actually. I think some people will see it as like such a big target that it's not really played as much as I'd potentially like to see, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's not as popular as what it used to be. I remember when it first came out, it was as popular as anything, whereas now it's like a rarity.
Yeah, I mean, in first edition, there were some really nasty combinations you could put on there, especially when you had sort of twin laser turrets on there, or the auto. Was it auto cannons? No, there was another like cannon you could put on there, cannon or turret you could put on there that was really powerful. Since obviously we don't have those anymore, it does make it a bit more of a fairer playing field. But it looks like we have first blood there to James. 1 damage on one of my TIE fighters. Can I reply in kind? I doubt it, because he's got an evade token. No.
Yeah, that's evaded.
Yeah, Sabine Red laughing that off there. So they're in a pretty interesting angle there. They've gone from coming down the board towards me to sort of veering off as though they want to try and flank round.
Yeah.
So it does leave them... I don't know, TIE fighters are fairly manoeuvrable though, so it's not like it's going to be a huge issue. Could it be a bait to try and get me to go through the middle? We'll see. I think, to be honest, I just want to get that decimator into play, utilising intimidation, also seeing how many times I can try and trigger Vader, 000, and BT1 in there. Because that's a nice combination of hurt you can really put in on someone. Although I have flown a similar build on the decimator, and at no point did I actually manage to trigger 000 and BT1, because every time one would trigger, they would just be like, yeah, no, it's fine. I won't take the stress. I'll let you have flank tokens, and I'm not going to get stressed to allow BT1 to trigger. Right, so just setting dials for the next round. I find it interesting as well that Ezra is not currently docked into the Ghost already.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Sorry.
Yeah, normally you'd see the Phantoms docked straight away if they've got the title. So it's almost as though James just wants that more early firepower out the door ready. Ooh.
Yeah.
Going down the middle there with the TIE fighters. Let's see if Sabine and Rex go that way, or if they were trying to maybe. Oh, that was close.
That is very close.
Just missing that debris there.
Literally by a couple of pixels by the look of it.
Yeah. The degree of accuracy that you get on TTS is something I'm going to miss when it comes to playing like in person. I mean, don't get me wrong, I cannot wait till we can actually play in person, but there is a degree of, as I said, accuracy that you have on TTS that is going to be something I'm going to miss. But
yeah,
I think it's one of those things. There's always an advantage and disadvantage of technology versus like actually having those tactile models in your hand. And I think one of the biggest things for me is to be able to see them on the board and then really be able to get your eye in and see where things are and be able to judge it a bit better. Because I still think that I struggle with that on TTS, whereas in person I feel a lot more confident of going, yeah, that's definitely going to fit, or that's going to be range 3. And also just be able to get down at the eye level of the ships and just see them just looks so cool.
Yeah, especially when they come pre-painted as well. A lot of them look, well, they all look absolutely amazing.
The only one I would say that I don't like is the Sith Infiltrator. I think that's a bit boring. It's too light. It feels like it should be darker. But hey, if that's the only complaint I've got about any of the stock paint jobs, then you've got to think that's not too bad given how many ships they've actually released.
Yeah, I mean, I love my Sith Infiltrator. I really, really like it. I mean, I do want to get a second one. And I want to paint one different. I'm kind of thinking a bit like a Darth Maul theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like that for one of them. The other one, I'm not too sure.
So I think the common ones you see is the Darth Maul paint scheme, or a lot of people will sort of darken it up and then do like a cloaking effect on it, which I think is quite cool. And on a big ship like that, the cloaking effect can be a little bit more forgiving to paint as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so it looks... That's an interesting manoeuvre that James has done there. So Rex right down the middle, but Sabine coming around the outside. And the Decimator has got its guns forward to back, so let's have a look. So going to be an initial shot straight in onto Captain Rex there. I think you can't avoid that. Outside of range 2, so Vader would not be able to trigger at this point. So looks like using a force token on Ezra. So it looks like... I'm not entirely sure what the force token was. I think there was a heightened perception check there. See if he could shoot first. Obviously with it being out of range. So, first attack of this round will be Oiken onto Captain Rex. Oh, that's not a bad shot.
No, that's a good one. Spend focus.
No, spend the force.
Oh.
Interesting. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter either way. And that's just one damage going through. That evade token really helping out. But hoping now that the TIE fighters can mop up a little bit there. But it'll be interesting to see what kind of damage Sabine causes. I can imagine she's going to go straight in onto Oiken. You'd almost be silly not to, really.
Yeah, it's so close. It's got to happen. And is that range 1?
Oh, it's hard to tell from this angle. If we see 3 dice come out, then it's range 1. It looks definitely range 1 on red, but go for the Decimator. If it's range 1, that's a great shot early doors for James there. Yep, range 1 onto the Decimator, so with a focus. Oh. And that's 3 shields gone in that attack.
Ouch.
Well, it's a good job I brought a shield upgrade for it.
I was literally about to say that.
But again, that's one of the things you get with some of those really chunky ships with a lot of health. They just don't have any evades, so they're going to go down. Like when they get shot, it's going to hurt them. So, but they can dish it out though. I mean, you look at the Ghost, you look at the Decimator, you look at the Upsilon, the output that they can provide is really good. 2 hits there from Blue onto Rex.
It's a good roll.
Oh, that's a better roll.
Laughing it off.
Yeah. Darn you, Captain Rex. He's still got 3 more shots to take, but he will get simultaneous fire, being initiative 2 as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a solid roll.
Ooh.
Oh, and that's Rex gone. Nice. Happy about that. Because Rex is a bit of a cheeky one with his suppressive fire ability. So while you perform an attack against a ship other than Captain Rex, roll 1 fewer attack dice. After Captain Rex defends, remove this card. At the end of the combat phase, if Captain Rex did not perform an attack this phase, remove this card. After Captain Rex is destroyed, remove this card. Another big wordy one. So obviously Captain Rex is down here. However, I'm still continuing to shoot into Rex. The reason for this is that you can still over-damage a ship. So you can still cause crits to be suffered. So my idea here is to try and get a weapons failure or something on there to reduce the shots that are going to come back. So it doesn't look to have triggered that way, but it was worth it anyway. And I like rolling dice. It's always fun. But Rex is going to get his shot back. And who... So he could take a parting shot into the Decimator, or he could go for one of the TIE fighters. Let's see who James decides on. Obviously, there'll be no point assigning the suppressive fire condition card because, well, Rex is gone, so that'll go.
Yeah, I'm wondering, it would make sense to go for the yellow one purely because it has taken damage already.
The downside is yellow still has a focus token, so he's going for blue, who hasn't taken damage but also doesn't have a focus. So your choices were damage with a focus, not damage without. And not that it would have mattered. I mean, he would have got half points there on yellow, but he's got a damage through onto blue. So parting shot, scoring some damage. So a good turn all round there, I feel.
Yeah, that was good. I keep looking at Ezra. It's really nice to see the original Phantom.
Yeah, it is quite nice. Obviously, a lot of people are a big fan of the Shetherpede, but I think for this, the original Phantom, obviously James wanted to go for that Rebels theme. I mean, I think James is okay with flying whatever. He knew James's position on the table means he's into the final, like the semi-finals anyway. But that's cool. So let's have a quick look. So Sabine is in quite a nice position there, just to sneak up behind the TIE fighters and the Decimator, especially because my ships will move first. She gets a bit more free range, and with her ability to be able to do a boost or barrel roll before she activates, she's actually in a pretty good position. Looks like we could be having a good old joust coming down the table, though, from the Ghost and Phantom.
Yeah, that'd be quite nice to see. Do you think Oiken would be able to drop a Connonet into Sabine's way?
Not at this point, I don't think. I would be fairly confident in saying it's a given that Sabine will not be going straight or towards ship right.
Oh, of course, you drop them first before you move, don't you? You keep getting that the wrong way round.
Yeah,
but you moves and then drops them.
No, that's... I think there are some situations where you can do it. I think Genius is one of those situations, but we obviously don't have that in play. But I don't think the Connonet is in the right position this time around. If the Decimator was a bit further forward, then maybe. If I know that Sabine is going to have to move through that space behind, then possibly. I think as well, with her ability to boost or barrel roll before she activates, it's harder to trap her with a device like that because she's got more freedom to get out of that. Oh, that's a very fast move from Blue there, getting right up into the Ghost. No prisoners being taken with that move. Oh, really?
And a possible barrel. Wow.
Going hardcore for the block there on the Ghost.
That is brave.
He's already taken damage anyway. Do we barrel? No, I wouldn't barrel with yellow. That would put him right on the rock next turn. You know, even though obviously it's me doing this, sometimes there's a bit of time and we've done a few other things between the games, so it's easy to forget exactly what happened. And I'm not sure if I'd have actually dialed that, like looking back at it now, I'm not sure if that's what I would have dialed in again. But you know what? Right now, I think it was a great move.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a really wise move. I mean, as you've just said, if yellow would have barrel rolled, he would have been in front of the rock for next move. But if blue hadn't have barrel rolled, he would have been in the same predicament. I think you've got a really good chance of blocking the Ghost or the shuttle and maybe getting Darth Vader into play.
Possibly. That was a nice barrel roll there from James, getting out of the Decimator's arc.
Yeah, that was good.
Again, even now, I would say that a Connonet wouldn't be good here because I don't think Sabine would even hit that. So it looks like the Phantom is just waving his way past the Blue Obsidian Squadron there. Looking like he might sneak arc on the Decimator. Definitely if he has got it, it'd be at range 3. So, what's that? I'm assuming looking like it was attempting a barrel roll to evade. There's definitely no space. I don't think there's any space for a barrel roll in there, to be honest.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit tight.
Even a barrel roll forward wouldn't get past. I think he's just gone for a normal, just a white evade there. And let's see how well we played it.
Oh, is that a bump?
Looks... Again, the ship, unfortunately, is blocking the designator for whether it's a bump. I think that was a bump, which is great because it means that stops any actions from Hera there, which I think at the moment is the big thing for me, is to try and stop actions. And also, it still allows me to shoot Hera with blue as well if I wanted to.
Yes.
And now there are no tokens. Vader is now going to trigger. Which is 3 damage. Now I just need to hope not to get shot back too hard. Looks like there could be 3 shots coming into the Decimator right now. Unless James wants to try and take out that Obsidian Squadron pilot at range 1. I mean, that would be 5 dice from the Ghost versus just 2 evades. But I think... I'm not sure.
It's doable, but harsh if he was to do it.
Yeah.
But...
Ooh, checking the ion cannon there.
Ooh.
But... So, got... yeah, range 1 onto poor little Obsidian Squadron.
Ooh.
So, 5B2. No mods on either side here, so we could be seeing some revenge there for Rex. Ooh, so I need to get 2 evades to survive this. And that's not enough. Bye-bye. You know what? He did his job, though. He got in there. He blocked Hera, stopped her from getting actions, and also, she essentially she took that shot there, so it saved the Decimator getting shot. So
it was a worthy sacrifice.
Yeah. I think it was a bit of self-preservation on James's side. 3 dice coming in with no evades is obviously quite dangerous. And here I would have got an evade dice for the gas clouds, so going 3 into the Ghost. Oh, that's not great. But it is 1 going through. So I can't complain about that. Another shield. There. So now let's see. Does Ezra have arc on the Decimator? Yes, he does. Range 2. Just sneaking range 2 there. Wow. So that's going to be some more damage coming through to me. Let's see exactly how much. And that's going to be my final 2 shields off the Decimator there. And range 1 from Sabine. You know what, to be honest, I knew Sabine at that position, it was going to be range 1, so...
Yeah.
It's absolutely fine. What a whiff. That is definitely the result I wanted there. A complete miss. So, looks like no shot from yellow. Range 1 from green. With a focus. So, 3 dice for no evades. James poised there to... Oh, that's all 3 shields gone. Oh, if only those shields had gone sooner, that would have been a nice crit going through. And what have we got from red? Range 2 from red.
Come on, get some crits.
Yeah, this is where you want them now. Oh, just 2 hits. You know what 2 hits will do? That's not quite half points on Hera, but that, you know what, I'll take that. I lost a TIE fighter, but took 6 health off of Hera. You know what, I class that as a good round overall.
Yeah, that was really good round. I was sort of like doing a mini dance as well. Just watching all of those dice rolls.
Yeah. I will say it's quite cool. Like these 2 lists going up against each other. They're just, you got 2 big hulking great ships and just a load of small ships flying around them. It feels like a proper like squadron of like you've got your core ship and then those support fighters around them. It just feels really cool and really nice. I love it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember back to what I did, but I have an idea of what I would probably try and do at this stage. But what would you be thinking? What would you be thinking, given the positionings?
I would think K-turns from the tie to try and get behind the ghost and flank. The decimator, I would be thinking a slow turn to the right. Yes, risk putting it on the gas cloud, but try and get that tactical bump for hopefully the ghost or Ezra if they're coming in.
Yeah, I think looking at the position now, I think that's what I did, but we'll see. But I think that's what I would definitely be doing now. The only one I'd be cautious of doing a K-turn with is possibly Green, because he would definitely be going onto that rock with a K-turn.
Yeah.
But I might just say, you know what? Hell yeah, go for it. We'll see. But I think right now, getting behind the ghost is going to be quite key, especially if I can block the ghost. Looks like Ezra is docking.
Oh.
So that will give the ghost a rear arc using the shuttle's primary. So now has a 3 dice rear gun. Actually means, because I believe that the ion cannon turret is to ship right, so it actually essentially gives that ghost a 270 degree overall arc, and looks like we are dropping the Coronet this time.
Yeah.
So just denying that position there. There we go. I don't know why, but I always get really like with the Coronet. In my mind, I always think that it should be placed so that it looks like a bow tie, like where it is sort of vertically on the screen. In my head, it always feels like it should be horizontal, like that. It almost looks like doing it that way doesn't look quite right, but it obviously it is. But I do like the Coronet. I mean, I'm not 100% sure if that's going to catch or affect Sabine much there. But it does mean that if she was going to be doing something tricksy, it sort of gives James something else to think about, with maybe doing like an early barrel roll to the right in the activation.
Yeah.
So let's see.
And I understand what you mean. I agree. I would want to pop it like a bow tie.
Yeah.
Because when you're putting cluster mines down, they are in a row. So yeah, it would make sense having it as a bow tie instead of an hourglass.
Yeah. Ooh, and Green did go over the asteroid. It did do the K-turn, took a damage there. Not sure. It looks like he might have just cleared it. It's hard to see from this angle. But we know that yellow and red are going to clear quite comfortably. And let's see what the decimator did. This is the one that we want to see. This is the one I'm... There we go.
Yeah.
Going in for that bump. Do I strain myself? Yes. Do I care? No, because I have no agility. And unless somehow it's a range 3 shot, I'm not bothered.
No.
So let's see what Sabine has decided to do. I think that colonnette's probably just going to be sat there for the rest of the game now, not doing much, but we'll see. James just weighing up his options there as to whether he does want to do the early barrel roll or not.
Yeah, I think if I was James, I'd probably just take my chances and go over the glass cloud.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm thinking. It all depends on the maneuver he's got dialed in. If he's doing a bank to ship left, maybe hoping to occupy that space in amongst those obstacles, then maybe the barrel roll is what he wants to do. But I mean, I think if he's doing a barrel, he should be clear that I don't think that colonnette's actually going to get him, unfortunately. But it adds that extra level of area denial. Or he's going over the top and he's going up instead. So let's see, maybe to just put in a straight. Yeah. Oh, nicely done. Missing the gas cloud as well.
That was good.
Right. Now, let's see what the ghost was trying to do. And I think James has decided whether to change the difficulty of the maneuver. And also seeing what upgrades I've got. So he has elected to change the difficulty, trying to see it, but it's right under all of his upgrades, so I can't quite see what he's clicking there. Looks like it's going to be, I think, a 3 sloop, I think, but we'll just... Oh, the suspense is killing me. Come on, James.
No.
Click the button. I want to see it. It's still double checking. I think he's having a look now at BT1 to see what that does in conjunction with 000.
Yeah, I should imagine the ghost probably hasn't got many blue maneuvers either, so getting rid of a load of stress tokens is going to be a bit of a pain.
Yeah, it hasn't got the most. It's got the 1 and 2 straight and the 2 banks. Whilst we're waiting for James to decide, did you want to go through what BT1 and 000 do? We had the 4K turn there, by the way, so...
Oh, I was really hoping it would come. Sorry, James, but...
It's all right.
Gosh.
He got strained there anyway. So yeah, just quickly, Amy, did you want to quickly run through BT1 and 000?
Yep, so 000 is at the start of engagement phase. You may choose one enemy ship at range 0 to 1. If you do, you gain 1 calculate token unless that ship chooses to gain 1 stress. And then with BT1 is while you perform an attack, you may choose 1 hit result to a crit result for each stress token the defender has.
Yeah, so quite a nice combination there. So James was obviously looking to try and make sure that he wasn't within that. Looks like we've vaded onto Sabine. Sabine has elected to remove her green token rather than take a damage. And we've got a range 1 shot from the ghost into the decimator. I foolishly grabbed a dice because I was like, is there an obstacle? Then I remembered I was strained. So it is just 5 dice. Oh, hold on. No, I've got that dice back. I don't think I should have that. We shall see, but I mean, it is 5. I'm confused as to why there's only 4 dice. I would have assumed it would have been 5 for a range 1 from the ghost. But that's 2 damage going through. I think there might have been a slight misplay there, and I think there should have been more, to be honest. Should have been a minimum of 3, with potentially another dice in there. So shooting back at Sabine, and that is evaded. So laughing that off, I think it was always going to be tricky with no way of modifying those dice against 3 evades. It was always going to be tricky. And does she elect to just keep putting the hurt in onto Oiken? Very close to half health now. Yeah.
I think it would make sense to. I mean, looking at the points at the minute, James is on 23, you're on 28. It's so close.
Yeah. And I mean, Oiken is 108 points. He's the most expensive ship on the game, and he also potentially the most threatening. And that's a crit. Well, that's disappointing. And the crit is that damage sensor array, it looks like? Waiting for it to pop up on... Yes, damage sensor array. Not great, but it could have been worse. It could have been a hull breach or a fuel leak.
Oh gosh, yes.
And I mean, if it was a direct hit, that probably would have been half... Yeah, that would have been half points there if it was a direct hit. So staying above half at this point. So we have range 3 on Sabine or range 3 on the ghost through the gas cloud. It'll be 2v3 or 2v1 going into Sabine. See if we can get rid of her. Oh, that's not a bad roll.
Oh.
And that's a crit onto Sabine. Oh no, it's not, sorry. Learn to count. That's 2 evades. 1 hit. Now that's gone through. I can definitely count that. That's 3 blanks, right? Do you want to double check that for me?
Yeah, that is definitely 3 blanks.
And a final shot. This one range 2. Ooh, 2 hits. These are some pretty good red dice today. But those are better green dice. Naddies all around there. Gotta love it. So this is definitely a very interesting position that all of these ships are in. Firstly, green is definitely going back over that obstacle. There is no chance that he's missing that. So he's potentially getting another damage. Red and yellow are in I would say normally a good position, but where Oiken is right in front of them, it's going to make it quite tricky as to whether, unless they go straight. But Oiken is in a prime position to really annoy Hera. Obviously, Hera is going to want to be trying to get rid of that stress, which limits her movement options, especially if she still wants to be getting shots in there. So it's going to be quite fun to see what this goes. And Sabine can do her barrel roll shenanigans. She's in a good place. Now would have been an ideal position for that. Actually, no, I was going to say for that colonnet, but that would have been terrible because I'd have probably ended up colonnetting myself.
Yeah.
which I'm pretty sure everyone who's played the game has bombed themselves at some point.
Yeah, I pretty much always do it every time I feel bombs on the map. I think I've taken out 2 of my ship. My best one is I put 2 sets of cluster mines down, and I took out 2 ships of my own ships. It was impressive. Embarrassing,
Yeah.
but impressive.
It is quite impressive. Well, looks like we're going to try and close off all angles there with the TIE fighters. See, I don't tend to fly TIE fighters, like normal TIE fighters, very often, but they can be good fun. And that's gone back over, I think, just cleared it though, so not actually staying on there. But he does take a damage, of course. So that's another half points there for James. So not ideal, but again, I think still got a pretty good coverage. What is Oiken doing? Is he slow rolling it? I think he should. It'd be
I think
a good idea to slow roll. Yeah, so nice slow maneuver. Getting that focus. Because no, Hera's going to... I highly doubt Hera's going to want to be doing a 1 forward if she's already got a strain. Doesn't want to land on there and potentially get a second strain, but we've got Sabine to go first. So yeah, utilising that barrel roll, hopefully to... Yeah. You know what? That's not a bad position there, I think, for Sabine. Because it gives her a nice shot into Oiken, or a really nice range 1 shot into yellow or green there. So, I mean, yeah, she's going to get shot from green and probably yellow, depending on where Hera goes.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, looking back at that, I definitely agree. She's got a very, very good range 1 shot.
Yeah. Right, let's see what Hera's doing. I think and there's another bump. Oh, that's not good for Hera. Clears the red tokens though, and looks like it hasn't gone over the gas cloud for there, so that's actually pretty good for her, but no tokens again. And that's vadering into Hera.
It'd be rude not to. They're practically waving at each other.
I mean, it would be very rude not to. Triggering 000, electing to give me the calculate token rather than taking a stress. I think that's the right option there, to be honest. But we do have a range 1 5 dice shot. Oh, and this is where denying those tokens has actually worked out really well. So that's a hit crit. So the crit is a loose stabilizer. So taking a damage anytime I do a non-straight maneuver.
It's not bad, but it could have been worse.
Yeah, again, it could have been worse. But here's a range 1 shot back, and I have a focus. So that is 3 hits going back into Hera. So Oiken is half pointed, and Hera is also now half pointed. So I think I would say I've definitely got the better of that little exchange there.
Yeah. And you've still got your other ties to shoot as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Red's got no shot.
No.
Yellow might clip Hera, but I think right now it'd be worth yellow and green just going straight into Sabine, although it looks like Sabine is going to try and take out green before he gets the chance. Again, don't blame her. Don't blame James there. It's an opportunity to take a ship off the board. Hit crit, so that's a good roll. A very good roll, so that is green down, so that's denying a shot back onto Sabine, so good choice there. Not that it's going to make much of a difference, but that crit was... I can't even see what it was now. Yeah, I can't actually see what that was, but again, it is irrelevant at this point. But we do get a range one back from yellow with a focus into Sabine. So that is
nice.
3 hits. That is good. And that's Sabine gone. Yeah, that's probably not what James was hoping for right there.
No, and these points are so close as well.
They are incredibly close there. So 2 points in it at this point. And the thing is, I know that I need to pip you to the semis. I need a strong win. At the moment, this isn't enough. This is not enough points to get me over the line. So 25 minutes to pull it out. I mean, that ghost is hurting. It's doable. I mean, look at that ghost is hurting. 4 health left on that ghost. A healthy obsidian. One was taking 1 damage. And Oiken, again, in a really good position just to be a pain in the butt for Hera. And also, it's not... Yeah, it might... I think James might be electing to deploy Ezra shortly. He needs that firepower back out.
Yeah, agreed. I can't stop looking at the ships either. Like, considering Oiken is the most expensive ship on the board, it's like half the size nearly of the Ghost, yet he's more expensive. It looks tiny compared to the Ghost.
I mean, it is a slightly off perspective. I mean, yes, the Ghost is a huge ship. It is massive. I mean, the Decimator isn't tiny. I think the Decimator, in comparison to the Ghost, is very thin. So it is an interesting one. Oh, missing the gas cloud there with red. Oh, but definitely got all of the angles there.
That's good.
And looks like we are flipping loose stabilizer. But yeah, definitely got all the angles there. Oh, and another bump there from Hera. This has really not been Hera's day. But it's been... I think that this is where I mentioned it earlier. It's all going to come down to that positioning of denying the options there. And that's another Vader trigger onto Hera. And take the stress or give me the calculate token. Let's see. Giving me the calculate token. So right now the advantage is definitely in my core. If I get a good roll here from Oiken, that could be bye-bye Hera. But let's see what Hera can do first with another 5 dice attack. So if there was a way to give an evade to Oiken, that would be so good. Other than the reinforce, obviously.
We'll be interested to see if that sort of card comes out at some point in a future expansion pack.
I mean, I'm trying to remember the cards. There used to be one in version 1 where once you had no shields... Oh, that's only one. That's not great.
Oh.
There was one in version 1 where once you had no shields, you did gain... Your agility went up by 1. I don't know if that's something that's in... I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I can't think if that's something that's in version 2, unfortunately.
No.
Looks like we are getting a shot from Ezra out the back. So just the one, absolutely fine there. Flipping one from a blank because of the gas cloud.
Oh, can Icon do it?
Oh, and yes, Icon can do it.
I can't remember the rules. When a ship is docked to a ship and that ship blows up, does the docked ship still take damage?
So it will do an emergency deployment and it would suffer 1 damage when deploying. So we should see Ezra pop out there and lose a shield.
It's not very often I play with docked ships unless it's in an epic game.
Yeah, no, I mean, to be honest, there's very few ships that can actually have something docked in a standard game. You're looking at the Ghost, the Houndstooth when you've got the Nashtar Pup on board, and the Lando Falcon are the only ones that actually have, in standard play, have docked ships. So just seeing coming out with a 4K turn. Just double checking it because for some reason it didn't deploy quite right. So we're just making sure it is in the right position. Sometimes the docking mechanic can be a bit tricky. That's another thing that is definitely easier on TTS. Sorry, in real life. But it does mean that Ezra is going to get shot now.
Oh yeah, of course. The other tie's still got to go.
So, and because Ezra has already shot as a bonus attack, be interesting. Trying to think if he does get to shoot again though, because it was a bonus. So let's have a look. So while you are docked, after your carrier ship performs a primary or turret attack, it may perform a bonus rear attack. So I think we're just rechecking that because I think that it counts as the carrier doing that, not Ezra. So maybe Ezra does get to have another shot. Either way, it's still not a great position for Ezra to be in because he will still be getting 2 shots coming at him from those TIE fighters. So we are going with Ezra does get a shot there.
Yeah.
So range 3 on the Decimator. What kind of hurt can you put in there, Ezra, after you've literally seen pretty much the whole of Phoenix Cell get wiped out here? Oh, it's a hit crit. And that's a hit crit that goes through. So taking Oiken down to 4 hull.
Well, it's still 3 against 1.
Yes. And the new crit is a weapons failure, so now shooting with 1 less red dice. But
that's not what you want.
No. But we've got a range 2 through the gas cloud from yellow. I mean, the trickiness here is obviously more evade dice, but dual crits. Wow.
That is good. No.
I mean, that's just insulting. When you roll natural double crits and they just roll natural evades, you're a bit like, please? I rolled so good. Let me have it. Right.
That was a really good roll.
I know. Range 1 from red, though. So 3 hits, so definitely 1 going through there. 2 going through onto Ezra, so that's Ezra now well and truly half-pointed. So I'm not going to lie. I'm in a fairly good position here. But, I mean, this was a good fun game to play, actually, and just coming up against quite a thematic Rebels list like that is just so much fun to see.
Yeah, it's been a really, really good fun game to watch.
And you know what, flying against James is always good fun anyway. Like, he's just such a nice guy to go up against. Like, even if you're in a position where you're winning, he uses it to learn from these sorts of things, but he also he plays for fun, and that's overall what this game is about, is to have fun. And if you're not having fun, then maybe you need to rethink a few things.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I love playing with James. I mean, we've only had, 1, maybe 2 games against each other, but they're always really good fun.
And he's just, especially when it comes to Rebels and Resistance, he's very knowledgeable of those factions. He's one of the players that sticks within like certain factions, unlike myself, who has all factions. He sticks within his faction. Oh, and it looks like the TIE fighters are trying to create a little guard of honor there for Ezra to fly through. Will he fall for that? The Decimator is in a very tricky position right now, but I have just I've got rid of the weapons failure. Oh, that was nice there, Ezra, avoiding the bump.
That was nicely done.
And also avoiding yellow's arc there. So, does the Decimator have range? Range 3. So no Vader trigger, no BT1 or 000, but range 3 shot with a force token. It's gonna be tricky. I think I pulled the wrong dice out there. Oh no, heightened perception has been triggered. So Ezra is going to shoot first into yellow. Range 1 into yellow.
Oh,
that's not too bad. 2 hits. That could be enough. Oh,
yes!
Finally, the green dice that I've rolled so few of have backed me up there. So let's see, can Oiken finish off the plucky rebels? Hit crit. So I need all blanks there. No, absolutely fine. 2 evades and an evade token. So, Red Obsidian Squadron, what can you do? Range 1. So 3 hits. 3 hits is what we're hoping for. As a hit crit. And that's absolutely fine with the evade token.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, the evade tokens, they're not as powerful as they used to be in first edition, but they are still pretty darn good. So, I'm in such an awkward position, though, with my Decimator, right in that corner there.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
I mean, being in the corner with a big ship that can't really maneuver is not ideal. So I think a one hard to the ship right should be okay there, but it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Electing for a hard turn there. Sort of going on the assumption that Ezra's going to chase down Oiken. Randomly got a template just joining us on the board there. Not even sure how it got there. Aiming to block Ezra. So the one hard did fit. And looking at it, hopefully, to be honest, 2 or 3 hard will still fit in there. It just means that I won't be clearing that stress this turn. And there was a bump there from Ezra, and I don't think Ezra is going to have arc there.
It's all down to this one TIE fighter.
Oh, he doesn't even have a shot.
No.
So no shots there. So back to dials. After every round being quite explosive there, that's the first round since I think the very first round that we haven't actually had a shot. So, I mean, the points were so tightly poised for such a long time. There was just so much happening in there. So it's now coming down to whether I can finish off Ezra.
Yes, what are you thinking? Obviously, a sharp turn for the Decimator to get them away from the edge of the board. Possibly a K-turn from the yellow TIE?
Yeah, I think yellow TIE, a K-turn is going to be the best option. Red, just a blue maneuver straight. Maybe a bank to try and avoid going over the gas cloud there, but I think at this point, well, there's the K-turn. I anticipate it's going to be a 2 hard from the Decimator. Yeah, there we go. There's the bank potentially going for a block. Might even barrel roll to the right or just focus up. Don't know. But yeah, the Decimator is definitely going to be doing a 2 hard to back into the board. I think a 3 would be too far. At least the 2 gives me a bit of scope there. Might, depending on what Ezra does, I might even still have guns on. Let's see. Oh, it's a bump from Ezra, so that does mean that the Decimator does still have guns on. So does the Decimator have Ezra at range 0, within range 2? No, so no Vader trigger to finish him off. Looks like he's also not doing heightened perception. Wanted to save those force tokens for. Oh, that's a good roll. James needs all pain.
Very good roll.
Oh, the one time James's dice let him down, but still, again, that was a fun game to play, and well flown by James overall there.
That was really, really good game.
Made me bloody work for it, he did, I tell you.
Oh gosh, yeah, it was one of those games where, like, even sat commentating, if I wasn't sat on the bed, I'd be upstairs at the table, you know, like sitting on the edge of my seat and biting my nails.
Yeah.
Just not knowing what's going to happen next. It's been great.
Absolutely. But we do still have a shot from Ezra for final simultaneous fire. Can he take yellow out in his last act of spite? Yes, he can. So a couple of points there, salvage for James there.
Ezra's gone out fighting.
Yeah. I think all of them went out fighting, to be honest. I think
Oh gosh, yeah.
Rex obviously blew out with his final shot. Sabine just kept going. Hera unfortunately got blocked so hard that it was very hard for her to really utilize her abilities. But again, she got a big gun on there, and intimidation and Zeb really helps. But let's have a quick look and see. So that's obviously, as I said, the final game of the group stages for the Commentator Wars, and it is looking like that. So 277 points of MOV for me to 123 for James. Is that going to be enough? Let's have a look. And that final table, that does actually give me enough points to leapfrog there. So puts me into third on 760. So unfortunately, Amy, that does drop you out there. But I tell you what, you had some really good games throughout the group stages. I mean, I swear every time we watch you play, we always talk about those 5 interceptors and how brutal that was.
The quinterceptors.
Yeah. And I think the nickname we had for you was Aggressive Amy, in that you always fly aggressively, and we love that. So it's a shame.
I like that. Yeah. My inner Sith is pleased with that.
So unfortunately, you don't move on to the semis, but it's been great to have you playing in the group stages, and hopefully you'll still be able to come back and commentate some of the semis and finals and give us some insights. But this is how the semi-finals are lining up. So our first semi-final will be James versus Quinn. Will James get revenge after Quinn's suppressive fire decimation of his A-Wings? And myself versus Fergus. And that always an interesting game against Fergus. Will I get revenge for that cheeky chopper ion cannon or ion missile combination he did? Who knows? We'll find out soon, though. But Amy, I just want to say again, thank you very much for coming along and commentating this game with me. I hope that you enjoyed it as much as myself and James did to play.
Yes, definitely. Thank you very much for having me, and it was a really, really good game to watch.
Excellent. Well, like I said, no doubt we will see you back on the channel for some more games, bringing some highly aggressive entertainment. But in the meantime, guys, thank you all very much for watching. We'll have those semi-finals up for you soon. Please do remember to subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell, and like the video. And we will see you next time.